welcome. My name is Cheyenne. I garden in Phoenix, Arizona, the 90 in my backyard. And today I want to go ahead and plant out my tomatoes and tomatillos in my raised beds. So if you want to see how I do that, just keep watching and I'll show you how. Alright, so my yard is quite the mess right now, but that's because I'm clearing out my garden beds and getting them refreshed with compost. So my tomatoes are going to be going in this raised bed, and I have already went ahead and topped this bed off with compost. I have been using mushroom compost. It's that compost right there. It's called mushroom compost, and I topped out the bed off with that, and now I'm just adding my string. So I grow my tomatoes on a string trellis. So there's just these little hooks that I put on top of this trellis, and I tie a string on them and stick it into the soil. So just like that, I tie the string onto the stick, and then I'll put it in there, and then I'll plant my tomatoes and grow them up this string right here. I got the strings with the strings tied, and I tie them up to these little hooks on top of the trellis like that. And so now it's time to I'm gonna add some nutrients on top of this bed, and then I'll go ahead and start planting the tomatoes. So the first thing I'm gonna do with this raised bed is to add some azomite on top of it, just to add extra minerals. Azomite is just a volcanic ash, and it has like 70 different minerals in it. So it just helps to add minerals into your raised beds or containers. And then I'm going to add some worm castings. Granular fertilizer inside the planting hole when I plant these tomatoes. Any granular fertilizer will work. I always just get the cheapest. I was able to find this Doctor's Earth. It was actually on sale for $3 at Home Depot, and they had 2 left, so I was super happy, and I grabbed the 2 that were left. any granular fertilizer will work. Okay, with tomatoes, all along the stem, hope this is focused, all along the stem you see little hairs on it, and that is those little hairs is where the roots are gonna grow. So when you plant tomatoes, you can take all the bottom leaves off and plant it pretty deep. So I'm gonna plant it probably up to here, and you can even plant it deeper if you want. You can take this leaf off and plant it all the way up to there. So however deep you plant it is where the roots are gonna grow. So the deeper you plant it, the more roots you'll get. So I'm just gonna add like a little handful like that into the planting hole. Quite a lot. And just mix that in. Good. And go ahead and plant up your tomato. The string is nice and tight, and then as it grows, you'll weave as the tomato grows, you'll just weave it up the string and it'll grow up. Also, when I grow my tomatoes, so this is a black cherry tomato. I forgot to say, but this is a black cherry, and cherry tomatoes, they're normally indeterminate. Let me see. Okay, so with tomatoes, your indeterminates are gonna grow. They'll just keep growing and growing until the weather kills them off, and they grow suckers. So between every leaf and stem, so right here, right here, right here, they'll grow another plant, and that, when it grows out, it'll become another main branch. So with indeterminates, for me, I like to keep them single to double stemmed. So I'll let maybe one sucker go, and that's it. The rest I'll trim off, and that way I can train it to go up this string without a problem. If I let it just go crazy and it has a whole bunch of growing stems, if I do that, then this string trellis won't hold it. But since I grow 1 to 2 stems, I'll put my cherry tomatoes on the ends, or my indeterminate. So this is my indeterminate. I'll grow the main growth up here, and then the sucker, I'll let one sucker go, and I'll train the sucker to go up here. So I have 2 growing stems. Okay, and then in the middle, I put, these are Roman tomatoes. So I'm going to do 2 Roman tomatoes, and those are indeterminate tomatoes. So the indeterminate tomatoes, they won't grow as big, and you don't need to cut the suckers off. Just, they're a determined size, so they'll have a determined amount of fruit, so you don't need to cut any of your determinate tomatoes. But with your indeterminates, if you want to keep them maintained, you're going to want to cut those suckers off. Alright, so right here, I'm going to do the Roma. This is the Roma. Other one, the one I'm doing right here, this is gonna be another Roma tomato. And then the last one I'm doing, this is a yellow pear tomato. So this is an indeterminate cherry tomato. That's why I'm growing it on the end right here. I'll let this grow its main stem right here, and then I'll let it grow one more sucker. So I'll grow the main stem here, and then one sucker I'll grow over on this end. Great. So that was the yellow pear. And I'm hoping I don't regret planting them out right today, because this week, or starting today, for the next 2 to 3 days, our nighttime temperatures will be dropping down to 47 and 48, but it should only be for a few hours at night. So I'm thinking these tomatoes will be fine, but we'll see together. I'm gonna go and give these a liquid soluble fertilizer. So this fertilizer is just gonna go ahead and feed them right away. Any of your water fertilizers will feed your plants right away, and then the granular fertilizers will start breaking down over time and feed my tomatoes throughout the season. But just to get them started, I'm gonna give them a drink of the water fertilizer. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and mulch this bed. Alright, so there's the bed. We got the yellow pear tomato right there, Roma tomato right there, another Roma tomato, and then the black beauty cherry tomato. Alright, you guys, well, it's getting a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna have to head inside. I'll finish up the tomatillos tomorrow, and I'll also show you guys in the morning how the tomatoes survived tonight, because we are going to be dropping under 50 to I think 47 for a few hours tonight. So I want to see, I'm thinking they should be fine. I think the soil temperature is warm enough for them, and then I'm adding the mulch on top too, so I think they're gonna be fine. But okay, bye guys. So it's the next morning, and The tomatoes look fine.